Yeah. All right. So I decided, even though no one's watching it. Oh, there we go. Steve's on. Hi, Steve. I'm going to go ahead and tie a game changer squid that I made up today. It's kind of fun. I think it would work for Puget Sound, for kings, and coho, and God knows whatever else. So that's kind of it. We're going to do it in a smaller version, I think. So I'm starting off with one of the 15 millimeter flyman fishing shanks. It's one of the fish spines. I think it's a 15. It might be not. I don't know. It looks like it's about 15, and I know it's bigger than the 10, so that's all I really got. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap the shank on this. You have to watch it with these shanks. There was a lot of anger and swearing earlier, very quietly, as I broke a lot of thread off, because when they bend them back over themselves, it ends up making it so it's a sharp edge on the bottom. So when you're actually wrapping it initially and wrapping the shank, make sure that when you're overlapping that like part where it overlaps right there, just make sure to be gentle initially. Otherwise, it's going to end up cutting it, and that's super annoying. Now you have two options at this point. One is you can actually take it. I had like thread on my nose, I'm not sure. You can actually take it and add a mono loop or a wire loop right here, and you can make it a like a stinger if you want. I'm not going to do that right now, only because I'm going to use a bigger hook. But if you're not using a bigger hook, if you're using it in a place where the fish are lazy, you might want to go ahead and put a stinger on there, because then they can eat the butt and still end up getting stuck. Not that squid have butts, but I mean, I don't think they have butts. I'm not sure. I doubt it. Not really.
How do squids poop?
I don't know how they poop, though. Does anyone who's watching know how squid poop? I have no idea, because they don't poop ink. They just, like, it comes out. It's not like pooping. But anyways, we won't go into pooping right now.
When they get excited, it just comes out.
When they get excited, it just comes out. That was Justin's comment for the day. All right, so it's a good thing that doesn't happen with people, too.
It does sometimes.
I'm sure with some it does. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add in, this is the FNF. Oh, good. Hi, Stacy. Wherever she is over there watching with Joe. I'm going to add some of the FNF. This is like the blob material. It's not really, it's just the chenille that they use on blobs for the UK stuff. If you guys haven't seen those work, they're so lethal. It's not even funny. It's just one of those flies that you don't want to actually admit to your friends that you're using, because then you look like an idiot. But they work really, really well, so it's like, why not? I'm sure they'd slay fish on the Yakima for those people who fish the Yakima. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do some wraps with this. All this is for is to add bulk initially, and kind of as a prop, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all the little legs. So we've got that going here. Now I'm going to add legs to him. Say it's a him, it could be a girl, I don't know. We don't really care. Now I'm going to add in some of the hairline barred crusher legs. This hat I got, it's awesome. I love it because you never get to see flies on hats ever, and it just makes me happy, because every time I see like a hat that I like, I'm like, okay, it's a tarpon, that's great, but I'd rather see tarpon fly on it. So it was really, really nice. Flatwing Flies has these. If you go on Instagram, I started following them just because I ran into them at the New Jersey show, and they have some rad flatwings that they sell, like striper flatwings. Of course, I have to follow everybody that ties flatwings because they're like my favorite. All right, so next up, I'm going to take some ostrich. You could use Rayatu. You can use whatever the heck you have. Emu, I don't care. I don't know if people have emu kicking around their house, but sure, you could probably use that too. Okay, so now I'm going to take these guys, and you want to make sure that they are not necessarily, you don't want them to, because you're not going to want to cut these. You want to make sure that you kind of stack them so that they're not super obnoxiously like wrong length and uneven. And it's fun to have them slightly uneven, but you don't want them really crazy, okay? Join late, what's the fly? I'm gonna do, it's one I haven't posted, but it's, shocker, it's a squid. And it's a kind of a game changer style squid. So it's pretty, it's not, I mean, I would say it's not, it's more of an intermediate level squid, I would say. Would you agree? Maybe? Yeah? Okay.
Still caught up on that. It squirts when it gets excited.
All right. So I'm not going to repeat that comment, Justin. Just me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and make it so that they kind of wrap around here at the same time while I'm doing this. So it kind of gets them everywhere. I did an okay job. I really meant to add a cup of water here so I didn't like spit all over myself or my fingers. Thank you. That was a good hint. Justin's going to get one because it's not cute at all when you have to lick your fingers or spit on yourself for any reason. I remember the one time, the first and only time I've ever tried as a kid, I was dared to shoot a snot rocket by my cousin. And I remember giving myself a bloody nose for like 10 minutes. And I want to say it was like Thanksgiving. And I had to go in there and explain that I got a bloody nose because I tried a snot rocket. I've never tried it again, and I've never really wanted to. But I'm not good with snot or spitting all over my fingers in front of people, just so you know now. I did white ostrich. I'm going to do a little bit of this too. And then I'm going to, this is just like a cream or a peach color. And I'm going to kind of alternate or kind of spread that around too if I could. Here, just so that it kind of gets, looks like it has legs, even of different colors all around. Now I'm going to add some of the, I have no idea what color this is. It's some kind of pink with the loco legs with black spots on. I'm going to add some of that in there. Everybody likes, when in doubt, put more legs on them. Just because it gives more movement. It makes the water kind of, kicks up water more. And let's forget to add, I just look, if it wouldn't be me tying in front of people, thank you, if I didn't have awesome nails, so I made sure to do my nails again for everybody today. Not really, not at all. So I apologize for you guys even having to watch. I'm a poor excuse for a girl and having nails like this in front of people. Okay.
I think you're a very fine excuse for it.
Thanks. Now what I'm going to do is, so what I've done is I have pre-prepped these little heads. Okay. I'm going to butcher the name. It's like stone faux, I always call it, but I don't know. I know that's probably not right. There are these little like pliable heads that are squishy. It's not the Flyman ones. The Flyman ones aren't as like squishy as these ones are. I kind of like these because they allow for a bigger eye in them. Whereas the Flyman fishing ones, the fish masks, they have like this certain space that seems like a little small for what I like to use. So then you have to glue the crap out of it and it doesn't always stay on. So what I'm going to do then is just kind of make sure I've kind of got this one. Yep, he actually fits. Take it off, sorry. It's a good facial expression I caught myself on. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is take, if I could find where the heck I put it. Hey, guess what? I left some on here. So there's some of the, oh, there we go. It's the Spawn Semi-Seal. It's basically all polykeet colors. Not all of it. There's like salmon, smolt, and stuff like that, but it's got a lot of wormy colors in it. So I'm taking some of that and I'm going to do my favorite dub technique. This is really awesome if you haven't seen this before. You put it on top and you wrap a bunch and then you pull off whatever comes off. Works like a charm, and then you whip finish over it. And I'm going to whip finish this twice so it's not going anywhere. And now I'm going to put my head on. So I'm going to put a drop of glue. That was not a pretty job on that. I'm gonna wipe it on my leg, so that'll be fun later. And Now I'm gonna shove the head on there, make sure it looks all pretty. Okay, so now the head's on there. Because I glued the crap out of it, I'm not gonna put wraps in front here. It's not going anywhere. It's not like, because there's also gonna be a shank. It's not like it's gonna be pulled off over the shank on top. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add one more. Okay, so there's gonna be one more shank. This, it looks like a 15 as well. Again, I have no idea. I'm gonna shove that on there. So that's what that guy looks, the back end looks like. I'm gonna cut that because I want the black ones to be a little longer than the front, than the pink and the rest of the legs, okay? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to wrap that. Again, be gentle where it overlaps there, or else you're gonna cut your thread and be really angry and want to stop tying altogether for life. All right, cut that. So now what I'm gonna use is this stuff. This is the slush gel, freaking thread. This is the slush jelly by F&F. You can get this stuff at Feathercraft. You can get it at J. Stockard. You can get it in the UK everywhere, but apparently it hasn't all made it over here yet, except a couple of those places. So there's that. Avid Angler has it, I think.
Most importantly.
Yeah. So you're gonna add in, cut in, or tie in some of that. I'd pull off some of it just to release, like show some of the core, because you want to tie it in at the core. So I'm tying that in now. This is another one of the Brita style techniques here that you'll learn, because I am the sloppiest, laziest tyer when it comes to stuff like this, and I can find every shortcut known to man in doing any of this. So you'll see a new technique, and you can only do it with certain things, ones that are super fluffy like this chenille. And I will show you here in just a second. I'm going to get up towards the front and stop just shy of the eye. About it. Length and distance, I'm going to say that's 1/8 of an inch from the eye there, but I may be wrong. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush this out so it's nice and fluffy. And you can actually, I know people say don't wrap over stuff, wrap over it. You can wrap all the way back to the middle, which is what I just did. It still looks big and fluffy, so it doesn't really matter. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap a couple times and create a dubbing loop. Okay, not that you can see it. So sorry. Now I'm gonna wrap back up to the eye with my thread. And I was so proud of myself, I pre-cut craft fur and stacked it and pulled out the short pieces. And I'm going to take this, and what I want to do with it, because it's not going to, we don't want it to necessarily overlap that eye big time, I'm going to cut it a little bit, or a lot, depending on how exciting I get with it. All right, so it's like that now. And I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to spread it out with my fingers. It still ends up clumped, but when in doubt, have it more sparse than less. Okay. Now I'm going to find my dubbing twirler. This is the awesome one. You can't get them anymore. It's like the Terra brand one. I swear you could sell these for $100 on eBay if you still have one. All right, they're nice and heavy. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to spin it. Is it? No, I think it is. This one may be the stonefoil one. All right, so now it looks like this, but there's a bunch of chunkiness in the middle of it. So I take the scissors and I go through and I run my scissors, literally, obviously don't cut the thread, but it would take a lot of talent to cut the thread if you are just running them along here and doing this. Since I'm doing it with the material. Oh, mother, shit, sorry. Oh, crap. Just kidding. I really tried, Mom, not to swear.
It would take really long to cut the thread.
It would take a lot to cut the thread. Here you go. Famous words by me right there. Jesus Christ. All right, so now it's like this, okay? It's nice and fluffy. I'm gonna do this. All right, and I'm going to take this, get some water on my fingers, and just kind of tease it back a little bit. Convince it wants to lay back. There's a lot of things. A lot of, never mind. I'm trying to watch.
Put my mind on my mind.
Yeah, keep my mind out of the gutter on this since it's not my personal Instagram page. I feel like I need to be on better behavior. Even though I just swore twice without trying.
If any of those people are social media, I think you're safe.
Yeah, I feel like if you're following Justin, you can handle it. All right. So there's that now. And obviously you could stop here if you wanted, but you can't because there's no hook yet. So there we go. We need to put a hook on it. So I need to find a whip finisher that I probably buried somewhere. Yep. All right, so there's once, twice. There's that. Now I'm going to do the hook. So the hook is going to be it's a Gamakatsu SL12S short, like my favorite. And this one is a size 4, I think. Which they're smaller than a normal size 4, so even though like some people might think you don't use that for cutthroat, who cares? It's still fine. So what I'm gonna do is put that in the vise, and I'm going to hopefully not break my thread off this time, and wrap the shank of this. These hooks are super sharp, what the heck, Brita? Sharp, even on the sides of them. So you do have to watch it. Even if you accidentally hit it, just bumping it like that, it'll slice it. So you got to watch out. I'm sure I will at some point in this fly, but we'll deal with that when it happens. So right now I'm using the Rio Hard Mono. This is the 20 pound. I like using this for kind of the, just keep it foul free, the little loop that I do on these, okay? I don't know if you need to. I've never watched a video on how to tie game changers because I get bored of videos really, really quick, and I don't like watching fly fishing videos or fly tying videos. Unless it's some fly fishing, I can handle videos, but not fly tying. So I don't know exactly how you do this really, but I've always done this just because it keeps it kicked up and it keeps it from fouling and wrapping its tail around the rest of it. So it seems to work really well, so I just keep doing it. So what I do is I tie it in on top, fold it over itself with a little, so it creates a little loop off the back end. Okay. And there's no reason to reinforce this or glue it down because no fish is attacking this loop at the back end of the hook, so it really doesn't matter. So there's that. Now what I'm gonna do is find, there it is. I'm gonna take my wire. This is just coated fishing wire. The Senyos, I believe, is what this one is. You could use like the Rio's Nautical fishing wire, that works too. And I have quite a bit. I just happen to have this in front of me. So, all right, so now I thread that through so it looks like this. I'm gonna reach underneath without showing you my armpit and my face right in front of the camera.
Next time I'll have her do a low cut shirt.
I'm not. All right, so I threaded a bead on here. This is one of the medium size or the large size, depending. I don't think they can actually tell the diameter when they send them because they all seem the same size. Of the iridescent, the tires glass beads. There you go. So I threaded on here. All this is meant to do is to keep the thread piece or the wire pieces together, okay? And then it sits them perfectly in that little mono loop that I've created. That little bead just hangs out right there. So it makes it actually a perfect, really effective foul-free method, and it keeps it nice and kicked up straight behind it. So this I do want to reinforce. So once I've gone through, I turn it around over itself, wrap over it really good, cut it off, and then I glue the absolute crap out of it. There we go. Now, I'm not going to glue the crap out of it just because do as I say, not as I do. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, I don't give it time to dry. I'm just going to wrap right over it. So, okay. there we are. So I'm going to take more of this awesome little chenille stuff, and I am going to actually take this, core it again, remember? So you're going to want to tie that in at the core. And then I'm going to stop it behind the eye like I did before. We're doing the exact same step as we did last time, okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap and try and kind of palmer it and fold it over itself and pull back on it as much as you can. Easier said than done. Got crap on my finger, sorry. And I'm going to get to here. I'm going to tie it off again. And then go back through with the loon dubbing thing again, teaser or whatever it is. Make it all nice and fluffy. And then again, awesome technique going back over itself because it doesn't matter, you can't tell at all. And do another dubbing loop. Okay, now wrap back up to the front. If you were fishing this for super toothy critters, which obviously in Puget Sound they don't have any, well, I mean, there's like lingcod and stuff, but they're not eating this little guy. You would want to reinforce this and counter ribbit or counter wrap it with a some wire of some sort, just to make sure that, because it's just a dubbing loop, it could end up getting cut and open. I bet the fish would still eat it even if it did, but just so you know, I've warned you. People with like really tough fish wherever they live might want to do that. Our fish aren't that tough. It always amazes me when I fish like certain lakes and such. The fact that you could take a bass and darn near like throw it up on the shoreline and it's still alive like an hour and a half later. Yet trout, it's like 2 minutes out of the water and it's probably toast in warmer weather. I'm jealous of saltwater fishing people and everything in the warmer areas. I'm going to cut off some of this just to make sure I walk around the house with fuzz all over my lap for the next 4 hours. There we go. And I'm going to make it so it's a little bit longer on one side. All right, so now spin. I'm going to do it one more time. Or two more times. 2 more times. I can't count. Now what I'm going to do is go back through and I'm going to cut this again. Nice, tease it out with my scissors. Try not to cut the thread again. Just goes to show that it doesn't matter how good of a tire you may be or think you are, you'll still cut the thread on your stuff consistently. All right, so now it looks like this, okay? And I'm going to do a wrap right here. Grab my water. Sorry, I didn't mean to fling it at the camera. And I'm going to take that and wrap. 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 And do it again. All right. Until it's completely out. There we go. So, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to kind of pick out the chenille in between those wraps just to make sure it's nice and pretty and fluffy. All right, so there's that. And now I'm finishing and then I'm done. Okay. So this guy is now done. All right, so there you go. The hook is at the front, which means it's still going to have a good movement in the back. It's got these nice eyes that are still going to show up. Take it and add it in my water here. All right, that's what it looks like wet. You can still see the eyes, see through with the body there, which makes it awesome in the water too. And that nice black and white's going to stand out and really, really show up with that contrast. So I will take this video and post it on the YouTube after this. It's going to sound super weird because I'm going to be talking to myself because the questions or whatever else doesn't really show up. So just know that I'm not totally psycho. It just shows up like that. And if you have any questions, feel free to message Justin about it. So thanks so much. Have a good night.